Good afternoon. My name is Barbara Fuller, and as Chair of the Board, I welcome you to this March 18th, 2025 regular meeting of the Washtenaw County Board of Road Commissioners. Our Office Coordinator, Aaron Smith, will describe how our meetings operate, how to access the agenda packet, and how people may participate remotely. Aaron.
Thanks, Chair Fuller. There are multiple ways to make comment during today's board meeting, whether you're joining us in person or virtually. If you're here in person and would like to make public comment, please fill out the sign-in sheet now. If you're joining us virtually, we will ask you to raise your hand at the appropriate time in the agenda. If you're joining us virtually and are experiencing technical issues with audio or video during the meeting, submit a comment in the chat feature and we will help you troubleshoot. If you would like closed captioning during this meeting, you'll have to manually change your settings. Click on the captions button and select show captions. The audio and video of this meeting is being recorded and a link to the recording will be posted to our website in the next few days. There are printed copies of today's meeting agenda on the table near the front door, and it is also posted on our website. And now I'll turn it back over to Chair Fuller.
Aaron, I now call this March 18th, 2025 regular meeting to order and ask Aaron to call the roll.
Chair Barb Fuller.
Present.
Vice Chair Rod Green.
Present.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Present.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Present.
And Commissioner Jeff Smurs.
Present.
And then the following directors are in attendance: Managing Director Matt Washtenaw, our Assistant Director of Engineering Aaron Burkholz, our Director of Operations Adam Lape, and our Director of Finance Dan Ackerman.
Thank you. I'd like to note that our Director of Engineering, County Highway Engineer Brent Schlack, is here virtually and was also present during the working session, I think. If you can make a note of that, please. At this time, if you join me in saying Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented? So moved.
Four.
Any additions, deletions, or corrections? Seeing none, Aaron, if you would, please.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Yes.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Smurs.
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green.
Yes.
And Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes. The agenda is approved as presented. May I have a motion to accept the board meeting minutes of March 4th, 2025, as presented, appearing on pages 3 through 10 of the packet?
So moved.
Support. Additions, deletions, or corrections? Seeing none, Aaron, if you would, please.
Commissioner Rod Green.
Yes.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Smurs.
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Yes.
And Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes, the minutes of March 4th are accepted as presented. We now have time set aside to hear from our county commissioner liaison. I don't believe Commissioner Sanders is with us, so we will move along. This is now public comment time, the time set aside on the agenda to receive comments from the public. This is not intended to be a period for dialogue. Each person will be allotted 3 minutes to address the board. Aaron will explain how people may be recognized to offer comments.
Thanks, Chair Fuller. Since this is a hybrid meeting with both in-person and virtual attendees, we will take turns between those attending in person and virtually. For our virtual attendees, we provided some instructions on the screen on how to participate and make comment. If you're attending this meeting virtually and would like to make comment, please raise your hand now. If you dialed into the meeting from your phone, you can raise your hand by dialing *9. We will unmute virtual participants with raised hands one at a time and will announce your username or the last 4 digits of your phone number when it is your turn to speak. Please share your name and address before beginning your comments. And then for our in-person attendees, we will start with those who signed up on the sign-in sheet as you walked in. If you didn't sign in, you're still welcome to make comment. We'll notify you when it is your turn.
Thank you. We will check to see if there's anyone in the waiting room.
No, Madam Chair.
And no one has signed in?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you. We will proceed to written communications. Written communications appear on pages 11 through 12 of the packet. Commissioners, anything you wish to draw our attention to? Seeing none, we'll move on. There was no public comment, so we need not respond. New business, our consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve consent agenda items 1 through 13? The motions appear on pages 14 through 18 with background on pages 19 through 35.
Support.
Any discussion, anything you want to ask a question about or draw our attention to? Aaron, if you would, please.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Yes.
Commissioner Joy McCollum.
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green.
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Smurs.
Yes.
And Commissioner Burkholder.
Yes, the consent agenda is approved as presented. We have no action items on our agenda today. We will move on to the report of the road commissioners, starting with Commissioner Green.
Thank you. Madam Chair, on March 5th, I attended the working session of the Washtenaw County Board of Commissioners, where there was a presentation by our managing director and other staff members. It was very informative. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Next up, Commissioner McCollum.
Madam Chair, on March 11th, I attended the Washtenaw County Parks and Rec meeting. There was a presentation on the Parks and Rec strategic plan, which was very informational. On March 12th, I attended the Eastern Washtenaw County Rec Committee meeting with the GROW development teams. There was a presentation on how the new structure of the rec center will look and what activities would be offered. I've also been working on my breakout session workshop for the Impress Awards for the conference that most of us are attending next week, the 2025 CRA Highway Conference Roadshow. And my workshop is about the Impress Awards, and I hope to see everyone there. That ends my report. Thank you.
Commissioner Yamas.
On March 6th, I attended the Legislative Town Hall meeting at the Washtenaw Community College Lawrence Center. The event was well attended, very well and very lively. On March 8th, I attended the virtual Washtenaw County Judicial Town Hall Forum hosted by Washtenaw County judges, who was presenting the majority of the judges, matter of fact. On March 7th and the 14th, I read the legislative updates from the Michigan County Road Association. On March 7th, I reviewed the latest legislative updates for the MCRA, which provided valuable information on ongoing advocacy efforts related to road funding and infrastructures. The updates are highlighted on the MCRA's continued role in lobbying for improved road funding policies and keep the stakeholders informed of legislative changes that could impact local road maintenance and develop. The link to the MRCA presentation given on March 4th before the House Transportation Infrastructure Committee was accessed. I accessed it through the legislative updates. On March 10th, I viewed the presentation given on March 4th by Denise Donahue, the CEO of the Michigan County Road Association, and Ed Niola, the Chief Deputy. They gave an overview to the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. The overview consisted of the county road agency's operations, road funding sources, and moved on to some of the county's major accomplishments, including conformity on transportation and right-of-way permitting, our seasonal weight restrictions, the mobile app, and the Michigan Wetland Board Mitigation Program. The presentation went on to describe pavement conditions, the future needs on bridges, culverts to bridges, and innovations and partnering for the next generation road solutions, such as road conductor, and ending with a heavy emphasis on road funding needs and data. The insights shared by Denise and Ed provided a deeper understanding of the financial difficulties faced by the local road agencies. Their presentation underscored the necessity for legislative action to address the challenges and ensure continued road maintenance and improvements. On March 11th, I viewed the Washtenaw County Board of Commissioners working session via the BOC website. A key highlight of the presentation of the annual roads and non-motorized mileage Washtenaw County Road Commission report by our administrator, Mac McDonald. Matt provided a comprehensive and insightful overview of the county's road infrastructure, addressing both the progress made and challenges faced by the Road Commission. The BOC members asked very insightful questions, which were addressed effectively by Matt. The commissioners, Katie Scott Andy Labar, Carolyn Sanders, Joseph Robbie, and Justin Hodges all expressed high praise for Washtenaw County Road Commission's work, administrators, and the road commissioners. They commented on the timely and thorough nature of the annual report. And this recognition highlights the Washtenaw County Road Commission's significant contributions to maintaining and improving the county's road infrastructure. I want to congratulate Matt on the job well done.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's it.
Commissioner Smers.
On March 12th, I was the commissioner on chat. We did not have anyone. Had a great conversation with the staff. End of my report.
Okay, thank you. I'll report that on March 5th, I attended the weekly road commission chat and we didn't have any visitors either, Jeff. On March 5th, later that day, I attended the Washtenaw County Board of Commissioners meeting to support the road millage status report given by our managing director, also attended by Brent Schlack and Adam Late. On March 6th, I attended Congresswoman Dingell's town hall meeting, as did Commissioner Yamas at the Washtenaw Community College. There were over 1,000 people in attendance. On March 12th, I attended the joint meeting of the Western Washtenaw Regional Advisory Group and the Southwest Washtenaw County of Governments at the Chelsea City Council Chambers. There were presentations by our own Adam Late, Andrew DeLue, Deputy County Administrator, Chris Scher, Project Manager for the Washtenaw County Broadband Initiative. Also giving remarks were County Commissioners Jason Maciejewski and Shannon Beeman. On March 15th, I attended the Dexter Forum along with Matt McDonnell, our Managing Director, and Matt did an excellent job of answering questions about upcoming road projects in the Dexter area, as well as explaining funding options for improving local roads. I also want to note that Matt stayed afterwards and had numerous people approach him with additional questions. I don't know what time you got home that Saturday morning. On March 17th, yesterday, as one of the Washtenaw County Road Commission stakeholders, I attended a virtual meeting convened by State Representative Morgan Foreman regarding her concerns about intersection safety in Pittsfield Township. Participants from this organization were Matt McDonnell, Brent Schlack, Michelle Ford. And that concludes my report. We will move on to staff reports and updates. Staff reports appear on pages 35 through 42. Matt.
Thank you, Chair Fuller. Appreciate the thanks and all the outreach we've been doing of late. It's been great opportunities to connect with our local officials, whether it be city council members, residents. In Western Washtenaw, we were able to touch base with some of the supervisors and trustees at the township board. So it was those are good opportunities. I will let you know that I've also scheduled follow-up meetings with several Board of Commissioners just for topics that they raised. And I just want to make sure we completely answer and address any concerns that they may have. Also, before we get into reports, I wanted to note next week I will be on vacation. Unfortunately, Washtenaw County's spring break aligns with the schools, aligns with the county highway conference roadshow. So I won't be in attendance, but Adam Lake will be there, and along with Aaron Smith, who will be doing a presentation on C-Click Fix. So we will have staff present on Wednesday, and then I believe Adam Lake will be there on Thursday as well for the annual meeting and the Impress Awards. So
Okay.
hopefully we'll be recipients of something there. I am assuming based on our submittals, they were very good. So I'll be on vacation from the 24th, Monday, through April 1st. So I will also be absent for our next board meeting, but we will have either Adam or Brent here as well, filling for me. So I will coordinate with them and work through that, and Adam will work with Chair on setting the agenda and work with Aaron on the board packet in my absence. So
Okay.
any questions? Okay.
Take your sunscreen.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna take my son's and my sunscreen.
Okay.
Yes, so also I want to make mention, because I won't have the opportunity to, Please make sure your calendars are marked for Thursday, April 3rd. That is the spring training event at WCC. That is 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. So we've got a great agenda planned. We're working through preparations for that and look forward to that day and getting together all as one organization under one roof. Those are great opportunities for discussion and education. And we've got some speakers as well. So
Remind us what time that starts, Matt.
7 a.m. is when we will have some breakfast there for
Okay.
folks. The program won't get started until probably 7:30. And then we'll have a lunch provided there. WCC does a fabulous job of that. And then we'll end the day at 3 o'clock so everyone can return to their yards and wrap up their day.
Thanks.
You bet. All right, with that, was there any questions on the reports that were provided in the board packet?
I have a question.
Great.
You want me to wait until we hear from operations since it's
No,
specific?
we
Okay.
can bring them on up. We'll go out of order. Adam, you go first.
26 debris in the roadway after hours. What's that?
Busy. Yes, Adam Lake, Director of Operations. A lot of that is usually debris blown or coming off vehicles and being left behind.
It's trash?
Sometimes it is, most of the time it turns out to be like tree branches or something that they call
Okay.
in. So the way it's called in is a little bit hard to track sometimes
Yeah.
because sometimes it turns out to be a tree.
So after hours, we have
Mhm.
people out, okay.
If it's within the traveled way, that's the only time we respond. So if we get a call that it's, considered emergent.
Much like this past weekend where we had 50
High
mile an hour winds, I'm sure there were several call-ins
That's correct.
related to the weather.
I'm noticing more bags of trash just randomly appearing. And if there is a specific township in which that is becoming a problem, I would encourage some follow-up on our
We
end.
typically do, yeah. We've seen a little bit of uptick in that, not what we saw a few years ago. But it's still, it's bothersome when it's in the roadway. Sometimes, people leave them deposited in the ditch line. We don't see it for months, years, because, we don't focus on it until we go out for a project. But we have seen in the past where people have dumped complete loads just
Yeah.
on the roads.
I haven't seen any mattresses, but I've seen a lot of bags
Yeah,
of trash.
yeah, it seems to be a little more small things, a little more contained, but all good until it kind of busts open and sometimes it's messy then.
Yeah.
We'll certainly follow the district foreman and then if necessary, work with the ordinance officer in the township.
Good.
Correct.
Absolutely.
I don't want us spending our time being garbage collectors.
It becomes.
I respect
expensive.
the work they do, but
Yep.
that's not our job.
That is correct.
Okay.
All right, Adam, you want to present your report while you're up
Yeah.
here?
No,
Sorry.
I totally derailed everything.
Hey, that is okay.
Bottom up this time.
Yeah, it's all right. I like cutting in front of Aaron occasionally. So the operations department, we continue finally now getting in a little bit more favorable conditions with temperature and working the preparatory work for the 2025 resurfacing projects. So most recently, we've completed forestry on the majority of the 2 or 3 we were working on, which those two and the 2 primary ones have been Bemis and Parker Road. And I don't mean primary as in primary road, just primary for our interests. They're bigger jobs. We wanted to get ahead of time, get out there and try to get the forestry completed. And then had all the intentions in the world to do a little bit more drainage work this week, but we had to terminate some of that on Bemis Road. It's just too soft. There's sections of Bemis Road, just because the frost is still trying to work itself out of the ground, which we're seeing on a lot of roads, and I kind of touched that here in the report in a moment, but sections that we didn't want to take any more trucks on and cause our own harm. So those will continue here for the next few weeks, and then inevitably get to a point where we can actually get the frost out of the ground and do full-on drainage work with the excavation for the ditching and culverts and the projects you typically see us perform in the spring. So it has, speaking of local roads in general and the roads unpaved throughout the county, it's been exciting to see a few agreements kind of finding their way across the table. Appreciate the board's support on that. As you know, recently here, Ypsilanti Township's first agreement, which has some minor sweeping and some crack sealing, just kind of general maintenance projects we try to perform with them. That came across. York Township's moved their first agreement forward. Saline Township contacted us this week as well. So they're making some good headway as well. Next week, we'll go to Augusta Township. We stand a chance to also be able to meet with Northfield Township at their office, as well as maybe have Superior Township here to us. So just trying to keep things moving, keep ourselves moving forward into the season. Have one phone call left for Lodi Township, and I think that'll turn into some good projects as well. So a lot of good movement. I think we're gonna be in a good place. Linden's Township, their local roads advisory group will meet next week as well. So I have a feeling within a few weeks, they'll probably present something to their board with what they're gonna do for the season. So just keep moving things forward and waiting on some warm weather so we can get things moving, full on in our projects.
So are the packets for these meetings on the website? So if people
Yeah.
are wondering
Yeah.
about details, they can go
Mhm.
there. Okay.
Yeah, so local road packets have all been published and also kind of sent out through Matt's office first, and then any follow-up myself or the foreman have had to do, they've kind of taken their, individual conversations that way. Freedom Township's working through some of their stuff. We're gonna go visit with them. They've pretty much ironed out what their board wants to do. So really getting to the point of just our editing, which Tiffany Locostal, our clerk, is doing. And then probably sometimes this week, they'll get the official agreement and they'll probably sign it because I think they've set their mind on what they want to do. So we'll probably see that one in a few weeks as well.
Great, great progress.
As you've mentioned a couple of different times, frost coming out of the ground, we're
Yeah.
still with seasonal weight restrictions are in effect. As things tend to warm up and dry out, we really need things to dry out in order for the roadways to gain their strength back. So certainly Adam and Aaron Burkholz and Brent will continue to look at field conditions and make a determination. Doesn't take board action. We've authorized the county highway engineer to essentially suspend those seasonal weight restrictions. So when field conditions align, that discussion will take place and continue over the next few weeks. I don't anticipate anything right now, especially with the amount of rain that we received over the weekend. That just did not help the situation, but that's expected this time of year. So.
Yeah, so and that was kind of my next part of the update. We have saturation kind of from above and still in theory saturation below the roadbed right now because that frost is trying to find its way to the top and inevitably thaw out, evaporate, but we haven't had exactly ideal conditions for the evaporation recently. So it's still soft conditions. We're seeing quite a few segments as you get kind of south and east in the county where they're just laying wet. And we're just trying to kind of massage as best we can, but it's very conscious, as we've talked many times, very minimal grading with the heavier equipment, try to patch with a little bit of stone, but inevitably we don't put a bunch of stone out on every road because it becomes marbleized because we can't actually blend it together this time of year without disturbing the ground, which we've tried a few roads, but it just didn't take the scraping. So we're just going to have to wait a little bit for that, but still able to perform some maintenance in the areas and at least take any major concerns out of the way, but still very soft conditions. So we'll work as we get through that and then inevitably try to make sure we update our permits department because they get called considerable amount of times trying to figure out when we're going to lift it from, whether it be contractors or trucking companies, whatever the case may be. So yeah, we'll kind of all coordinate that as we go here for the next few weeks and see what we get, but nice little warming trend is good. And hopefully we can stay away from a little bit of rain
And in response to those inquiries, if you get them as well, the first place is to go is our website. There's a banner at the top and you can subscribe to seasonal weight restriction notifications. And so as soon as we know something and that we're going to take action to suspend those weight restrictions, we'll send an email out. We'll update our website and we'll update the CRA app for seasonal weight restrictions. So those are the notifications that will be somewhat immediate.
To the minute, yeah.
Once we make the decision, the notifications go out.
Yep. Yeah, so we'll continue that process, keep the board and everybody updated as we go. Step by step here, we'll get a little bit of drying time and then move it forward. For my general update, just kind of want to recognize the shop and the facilities team. A lot of work goes on so-called behind the gates and during the winter to kind of keep us moving when 50, 60 of us are chasing snowflakes and the administrative crew that keeps ourselves moving here and answering a lot of questions on the phone. So just a general thank you from Ken, Jared, myself, It's been a good season. We're hopefully finding our way to the end. I can't say end yet, but I did commit to Dan Ackerman that it's not going to snow anymore. So hopefully that works out for us to manage that budget, but,
Well, in
just
that
wanted that
case-
opportunity. Yeah, right. Just wanted to kind of avail that opportunity because there is so much work that goes on to make sure we can turn the key so that we can
Yeah.
get out the doors and get in the trucks and go out on the road for 300-400 miles a day. So certainly appreciative of that. And then I'm sure everybody else probably echoes that as well, but felt like it should find itself to the record here for the spring.
Thank you, Adam. And Adam was not at the working session this morning because he was attending a job fair at the Southwest Washtenaw Consortium at Saline High School with Alicia Held. So
It was a great opportunity.
it was a great opportunity to talk to young folks about the work that we do here at the Road Commission if they're interested in the construction field.
Yeah.
It was some good
Good opportunity.
conversations. I
Yeah,
hear.
very good opportunity. I think it's really interesting what students are availed now and how much it's developed in the 20-some years since I was in high school and options like that. They have a very developed program, and then the Saline, that facility is just phenomenal. You're bringing kids basically from the whole county. So it's just really neat to see because everybody came to us. And so it was fun for Alicia and I to talk to all different types of kids and different types of education fields and where they might go in their life. And so it was an exciting time. So yeah, I certainly do appreciate the absence.
So what were the questions? Do you remember any of them?
Yeah, most of the questions were initially is it cool? And so obviously knowing me, yeah, right. Right, so, easy.
Very
question,
popular.
Yes, we ran out of our ducks.
The ducks.
Yeah, we ran out of our ducks really quickly, but I kind of led with, yeah, it is actually cool. And I was a summer helper once. And so we had these things where Alicia and I could talk to them because myself, Ken, we were, and even Alicia at some level, some type of laborer, like a seasonal part-time employee at some point before we started our career. And so we always try to kind of echo that it certainly is enjoyable. And then I just try to tie to whatever field they're in. We had quite a few individuals from the welding group, automotive group, and then we even sports management and sports medicine groups were kind of asking a lot of questions. So they're interesting to see, an interesting little opportunity to kind of try to correlate the two and just correlated kind of how I lead with, sports metaphor and try to be a team. And, there's a lot of things going on. So sometimes you don't always love everybody on your team, but you still have to get what we have, on our schedule completed. So kind of led with that when I talked to a few of those groups, but yeah, questions were good. Just tried to learn us, and we gave out quite a few flyers. So hopefully that QR code, even if one of them gets hit today, that's a good thing. And try to
Good
do this one.
outreach.
Yeah, it was great. And
Jim,
they're better part of a few hundred children or kids there, I guess, young adults.
Commissioner Green.
Yeah.
Is the road commission responsible for patching potholes on M14?
Yes. Yes, we are. Yeah, that's our state trunk line crew that would patch those holes.
On behalf of MDOT.
Correct. Yeah. As part of our maintenance contract with that group.
Okay.
Do you have one in mind?
Yeah, is there specific? I can let them know. I know they were out yesterday, but I don't know if they.
Eastbound on N14, as you approach Ford Road, there were a few that.
Oh, okay, out to the east side. Okay, I'll let Tim.
Dominoes out that way?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yep.
Right.
Okay, that'll work. I'll let them know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to know if any young women go ahead,
No, go
Commissioner.
ahead.
Gomez.
No, I want to hear your question first.
Did any young women stop by? Alicia, thanks for being there and putting a woman's
yeah,
face
Alicia.
on this whole thing.
Yes, actually, quite a few. I probably 10 or 15. That was the whole sports management and sports meds group. They probably a group, 2 or 3 groups of like 5 or 6, maybe at one point we had probably 7 or 8 women there talking to us about it. And so I just correlated a lot of that and just really talked about like the opportunities and
Mhm.
tied a lot of it to sports metaphors, talking specifically to that group just because they were all athletes. And so I was able to kind of like touch, how we try to have our mindset here.
Yeah.
We are some kind of team at some extent and how we lead and move things forward. And then subtle jokes that, well, my sports management degree, I'm not exactly using, but it works for road commission stuff, time to time. But yeah, so quite a few, and Alicia and I even talked about that. I think it's a good opportunity and so females understand like it can be done. There aren't limitations. We have equipment, we have processes, and once you're trained to be the right fit for us, you can usually perform any work. It doesn't matter who you are. So it was a good part of the conversation to talk about that.
Great. Commissioner Yamas.
Hi, Adam. So, the career job fair you went to,
Mhm.
did you get an invitation to that? Or are there other schools that in Washtenaw County that you are invited to, or how do you know where to go?
So I honestly would defer a little bit to Alicia on that. I do know that she gets an invite. The consortium, from what I understand, it brings multiple groups. I mean, basically it's county-wide that have the opportunity to kind of go into like trades and.
It's Saline, Milan, Manchester, Chelsea, Dexter. So that's the Southwest Washtenaw County consortium group. So
Okay.
And there was an individual also from Northfield Township that asked questions about it. He's a young gentleman from there. So I don't know how they branched
Whitmore
out
Lake,
into
too.
Whitmore Lake. Yeah, so we kind of had questions and fielded questions from groups kind of all throughout the county. But yeah, so I'm sure others have, and I don't know if Alicia can be unmuted or not, but
Alicia, you have anything you want to add? Are you there?
Hello. No, I really don't have anything to add. We get an invite every year, from the coordinator of the program. So she reaches out to us every year and gets us scheduled.
Okay, so my question is, I know that Huron High School has a job fair and
Okay.
some schools in Willow Run, Ypsilanti Township have fairs. So I wondered how, for them to plug in. There's
Okay.
not a reach out. you
if
just
they,
gotta-
if they extend an invitation, certainly that we're available. We would definitely want to connect to the community, and it's good engagement and outreach.
Okay,
And I
Absolutely.
think specifically, the coordinator of this program knew that we had employees that have gone through Saline High School and have gone through that program. So she's reached out to us. So
okay, great.
yeah, I think 6 or 7 people that we could count right off the top of our head that she remembered like word for word. They wanted to be a road worker. And so it was kind of interesting conversation. But yeah, the reach out to other groups, I mean, I'm sure that's possible. Hopefully they hear this, reach out to us. If there's any connection we can make. It's a
Summer
great
ed-
experience.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm thinking the eastern side of Washtenaw County,
Sure.
Okay.
so that we could get the
But-
eastern side also.
For us, it's really those high school graduates that we're targeting.
Yes.
We don't hire anyone under 18. So it's going to be 18 or older. So it's typically we're hiring after post high school, typically. But it's good for awareness, to ask questions and to learn. That's the whole point of particularly the consortium, is they're trying to experience the different fields that are out there of interest. And it's better to do that while you're still in high school than, to spend a lot of money in a direction that maybe isn't best suited for you. So,
Right.
yeah.
Commissioner Green.
What is the deadline for summer interns that want to apply for summer work? If you know.
Well, I personally don't know, and I don't know that we set a deadline. Normally, we make ourselves into June, because most kids have probably got out of school at that point or
Yeah.
taken on a second.
I think Alicia
session
can
of the
certainly
season.
speak to
Yeah.
that. I think for interns in our engineering department, all of our positions are filled. I think we're still interviewing for summer helpers and as a
Operations.
laborer for operations.
Yeah.
That, I don't know that basically it's posted until they're filled.
Mhm.
And once they're filled, then we remove it from the website, but it's currently on the website right now.
Because they
That's
essentially
correct.
have a
We don't have-
timeline. Yeah, go ahead, Alicia.
no, that's
probably what
correct.
Go ahead,
We just
Alicia.
have it posted until it's filled. So we take it down once all the positions have been filled.
Yeah, so once it's filled, it would come off the posting would come down. And also on the other end of it, the position essentially has a timeline. Because as we finish our construction projects and, our seal coating program, things like that, as the season slows down and wraps up to go into the winter, we're not out flagging traffic as often or doing small jobs where we need labor assistance. So we kind of balance that. And most students or young adults, whether they're going into a different trade or going to finally enroll in college and move on at the university level, they're usually September, August, somewhere in there, their timeline usually hits where they have to go back to class or enroll. So that's most of the reason why we just haven't had a date on it, and it normally stops beginning of summer. But yeah, I think we still need one at least.
Order more ducks.
That is correct.
Duly noted.
Oh, go ahead, Commissioner Young.
Oh, yeah.
I just have one more off of
Yeah,
your
you're-
report. I see McChrysop came and did a facility visit, site walk. Did you do the walkthrough with them?
I did not walk through. I believe Clary Timmer walked the majority of the site with them, and Dennis Bussey may have walked as well. We do have a report, but I haven't really read much through it. I don't have any big things coming across my desk, so I think we improve each time. A lot of what we see is just housekeeping.
Okay.
Somebody left a shovel or left a ladder near a door or something, smaller things that we can usually address in the moment. For the most part, we're sound safety wise and liability wise because we have places to put everything. A lot of what we see is housekeeping.
Yeah, it's a great way where we're, again, auditing ourselves through our pool to look at it. And certainly what happens is the reports come back to myself and Craig Timmer, and then we review, and then if necessary, we'll follow up with our facilities and yards.
Yeah.
Our district foreman responsible for those outside yards.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All set? Okay,
Thank you.
thanks, Adam.
Thanks, Adam. All right, next we'll go reverse order. Dan Ackerman, finance report.
Well, we're really shaking things up. I was ready just in case.
Be on your toes.
Yes, Dan Ackerman, Director of Finance. Barb, I want to thank you for asking if I had any thoughts on the morning working session.
Ah.
I kind of feel like I was a sponge for everything. And I was telling Mr. Burkholz that I learned some things from their bridge presentation. Been here over 30 years and we can always learn things. So just appreciate the thoroughness of everything. And I always think that's great. You think, oh, I know everything there is about engineering at this point, but I don't.
Yeah.
So I probably never will, but anyway, so I
Nate
thought,
and Aaron did a nice job.
yes, for sure. So a lot of my focus right now is preparing for the next working session, which is typically my favorite working session. So the April working session, we'll talk about the 2024 financials and then go right into the first quarter budget review. So we've been really heavily involved with the budget. If you recall, there's some spreadsheets we have on primary and local roads, and anything that changes or is added is highlighted in yellow. And there's yellow all over the documents because we've just been spending a lot of time on it. In particular, Brent and Aaron have been spending a lot of time just updating numbers and making changes. So anyway, so there's definitely has been a lot of time and effort been spent on that. We met as a leadership team on Monday and talked about a lot of these changes as well as where we're coming out of 2024 and bottom line and all those good things. I have departmental meetings this week. So I'll meet with Adam and his staff and then Brent and Burke on engineering side. So getting closer to the finish line. I will also be off next week. Probably pass Matt somewhere on the highway or
Take your sunscreen too.
that I need to. So I want to make sure that we get ahead of this thing as much as possible. So we're not scrambling at the last minute. Plant Moran did provide the final 2024 financial report. And I have definitely made sure to that they will get the presentation to us, the PowerPoint presentation to us at least a week prior. So I can get it to Aaron and get it to all of the commissioners well in advance of our meeting. So, but just looking forward to those discussions on that.
And Dan, the teaser is 2024 came out better than we
You
anticipated.
can't steal his thunder.
Absolutely. I
No,
don't,
go for it.
when you hear all these,
Oh,
when you hear all these changes, I don't want you to think that we're ultimately spending what we don't have.
Right.
Things came out better than what we anticipated.
Yes.
Projects are being refined, meaning bids are coming in. Actual numbers as far as estimates are turning into contracts. So we're just refining the budget as we go and also adding to it if we had deferred projects that we think are worthy to take those funds that we were coming out better and apply them to a certain project. Those are the kind of changes we're reviewing currently, and then we'll present at the working session. So
Right.
a lot of yellow is a good thing because
Yes.
we're able to do more investments in our balanced approach, whether it be equipment or investment into the roads, or we've got chip seal program, and it would make sense while we're here in this part of the county, there's a few needs, adding segments. So those kind of conversations, things that we deferred at the start of the year because we take our budgeting process and we're very conservative. And once we know the year-end numbers and we gotten through winter, now we can start, it's like a funnel. It's becoming a little more clear, the picture, so we can make better recommendations, on how best to use those funds. So that's the teaser, and there'll be a lot of discussion at our next working session.
Yep.
All
So
right,
we're.
on notice, you let him give the good news next time,
Yes.
Matt.
All right, sorry for the spoiler.
That's
And,
right, that's right.
Winter's definitely been part of our discussions, which according to Mr. Lake, maybe I've jinxed that, so we'll see. And then the only
It's
thing.
his promise, it's his promise. that
Right,
you
that's
throw it
right.
in.
And the only thing to add to what Matt shared is also maintaining a healthy fund balance too. So,
Absolutely.
again, we have all the competing interests, but obviously it's very important to make sure we have plenty in reserve just in case we need it. So definitely looking forward to that discussion. Besides that, I'm also working on our Act 51 report, which is of course required every year, this huge massive report that I'm not sure who looks at, but it's a requirement. So we'll, of course, we'll comply.
I do.
Yeah, there you go.
It's
Matt
always
does.
ultimate, Matt.
Clearly. Want to know he's valued.
Yes, right, thanks. So that's always a heavy lift. I do have until the end of April to
Okay,
finalize it, so, but definitely want to make sure we
around the corner.
get
yeah.
that. Yeah, I know it will be. And also there were several state trunk line reports for the state trunk line contract that we have to submit each year, so I submitted a majority of those as well, so. And that's my report.
Are those state trunk line reports for reimbursement purposes then, or?
Just normal part of the contract.
Ah,
Some
okay.
are, calculating fringe benefit costs, providing, detailed breakdowns of our trial balance. You'd be surprised at the amount of information they ask for from us, but, it's in the contract, so we need to comply with
Okay.
that.
All right, any questions for Mr. Ackerman?
Thank you, Dan. I appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Dan.
And then Mr. Burkholz with the engineering report.
Good afternoon, Aaron Burkholz, Assistant Director of Engineering. Looking to next week, Matt mentioned a couple of the staff that are going to be attending the Highway Conference and Roadshow. Michelle Ford will also be there, our Senior Project Manager for Traffic and Safety. So she's going to be there Wednesday and Thursday. Active road construction updates. So Park Road and Stabler Road, the contractor continues to coordinate with utilities, and storm sewer work, underground work is ongoing. So they are working on the job site. The reopening of the road is really going to be influenced by the start of asphalt plant production. So the road is going to remain closed until such time as they're able to pave the road. And typically asphalt plants will start their production around mid-April, but again, that does depend upon weather conditions. So.
And that's a permitted project in Scioto Township.
Correct. Bemis Road reconstruction. So again, that's from Stony Creek Road to Hitchingham Road. Bemis Road being a border road between Ypsilanti Township and Augusta Township. That project, DTE Gas, is relocating utilities right now. They're ongoing with their work. The road commission contractor, E.T. McKenzie, is expected to start out there in early May. So that job should get started here in the relative near future. The Tyler Road Bridge and Dam repairs in Ypsilanti Township over near Willow Run. The road commission contractor, Erie Construction, is starting this week. Under the current contract, we've targeted May 30th as the open to traffic date. So again, contractors do have the ability to request an extension of time if it's justified based on things like weather conditions. But again, this is hopeful because they're starting this week and we're happy to get that repair work underway.
Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner McCollum.
For the Tyler Road, Bridge, Road, yeah, are they going to close down that other street that, I forgot where it was at. It's right next to the bridge where the construction will be.
Yep, they wouldn't have to. So Airport Drive is. right
Airport
there.
Drive.
Yep, so Airport comes around on the north side down to Tyler and then the Tyler Road extension. those other roads would remain open. for
Okay.
work. So, yep.
Great.
Yep.
That's good news. Thank
Sure.
you.
2025 advertisements and bids, under the consent item, the consent agenda today, the board supported, contracting on several annual contracts. The engineering staff really appreciate that. So the countywide asphalt contract, bids were opened on February 28th. And, so that contract will be with Cadillac Asphalt. The total of that bid based on the work that we know of right now is 4.6 million. The reason I say the work we know of right now is because we continue to work with our township partners, and talk about potential local road investments that we may make. So, those again, potentially would be added to that contract at a later date. We have the countywide guardrail contract. Bids were opened on March 6th. Again, that's with Action Traffic. And as it stands right now, that's $153,000 worth of guardrail improvements and repairs. We have the countywide pavement marking contract. So that was an extension of the existing contract, and that's with PK Contracting. We have the countywide traffic calming contract. That's actually in advertisement right now. So we've advertised that for an April bid opening. And one of the projects that we've identified as part of that contract is Foster Avenue in Pittsfield Township. So that'll be part of that contract work. MDOT opened bids on March 7th. And so again, that would be for federal aid projects. And there were 7 primary county roads included in that bid opening at MDOT. The roads included Earhart Road, Whitmore Lake Road, Jackson Road, Dexter Pinckney Road, Gulfside Road, Clark Road, and Waters Road. So Cadillac Asphalt was the as submitted low bidder at $2.9 million for those 7 road segments. And again, those are resurfacing projects, so asphalt mill and fills.
So Cadillac got 2 awards?
They did,
Okay.
yes. So the one award is by us under the countywide program, and then the other award would be under MDOT, and that would be pending. There's a number of steps that have to be gone through at the MDOT level before they actually award their contract with Cadillac. So, yep. Staff are finalizing bid documents for 2025 projects. We still do have a couple that are in the hopper that would go to bid yet that are intended for construction this year. One is Nixon Road between the city of Ann Arbor and Pontiac Trail. That is a federal aid project on the north side of the city of Ann Arbor, and that would be in the MDOT July bid opening. That's going to be a pulverization of the existing road and then an asphalt overlay on that. We are going to be reaching out to the city of Ann Arbor because the city has got a project that's advertised right now. They just opened bids for it. Again, it's a federal aid project. That's on Nixon Road between Huron Parkway and Green Road. So it's just south of our project. So we have to make sure that we're talking to one another because area motorists, it's going to be a little bit hectic there when we're underway. So, another project for 2025 is Ellsworth Road. That's from Ellsworth Road from Platt Road to Carpenter Road in Pittsfield Township. So that one right now is targeted for a road commission bid opening in April. So next month we'll be opening bids for that project. And we are continuing work on the design, the permitting, and the right-of-way acquisition on 4 roundabout intersections for 2026. So again, those are federal aid projects. If things continue to go in the direction they're going right now, we would build 4 roundabouts next year. So it would be the year of the roundabout. And then I just wanted to note and welcome a gentleman named Mike Brown. Mike is our new traffic signal electrician. Mike is an electrical journeyman. He started with the road commission on March 3rd. And I really appreciate the diligent work of human resources, in particular with this position, because to find an electrical journeyman can be quite a tall task. There's a great need for the skilled trades. And, you know, Adam touched on that a little bit, talking about his visit with the South and West Washtenaw Consortium. That's a great program. 2 of my 3 kids were and still are involved in that. My daughter actually was involved in the welding program, and my son is involved in hospitality and tourism. So anyway, yeah, so it's a good program. But that's my report.
Great.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Any questions?
What do you think, Brad?
Okay.
All set.
Great.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks.
Thank you, Karen. That concludes what we had to present.
Okay. I want to remind everybody that March 19th, that's tomorrow. Rod, you're on call for the chat session. March 26th, no chat because of the highway conference. The highway conference in Lansing is March 25, 26, 27. April 2nd, Commissioner Yamas, you're on call for chat. And as Matt had said earlier, April 3rd is our spring training at Washtenaw Community College, beginning at 7 a.m. on that day. If there's no further business to come before the board, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
Aaron, if you would, please.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas,
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum,
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Smurs.
Yes.
And Commissioner Burt Fuller.
Yes, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.